Hello, we are in the late of 2019 and this means that we are also in the late of this decade. There is a theory that I really like, which is the generational replacement. This theory says that each trend that you had in the past decades is also replaced by new trends in the new decades. It's about everything, technology and everything. Also, there is another thing to say, that sometimes old trends that were trends a lot of decades ago became again trends. But the reason why I am talking about generational replacement is because actually I am reading and hearing a lot of articles talks about that object-oriented is a bad design. It don't have to be used. With most of this article I agree, but half of them are really crazy and I agree just partially. But I think that these articles are there just because of the generational replacement, and since we are entering in another decades, other trends jumping. But the idea of this video is not about says that we should remain or we should drop using object-oriented. Rather, I want to do the opposite, which is list the things that I think are the toughness of object-oriented, in order that when the object-oriented became again a trend, we can start improving it from these 5 points. And the first point of my list is that thanks to the object-oriented it's possible to group functionalities. I remember that back in the day when I started to program, I had a lot of troubles in order to organize the software. Instead, later when I discovered object-oriented and I started to learn it, the result was that I was able to group the functionalities through objects, and the result was that the software was much more cleaner. When a software is already programmed in object-oriented, it's really difficult, or we can say that it's really obvious when you shift from object-oriented and you start to implement things in another design pattern. I think that is a really nice thing because it's much more difficult to mix more design patterns, and the final result is that everything is much more uniform. And this is my second point. I think that thanks to the code uniformity we have much more benefit, and indeed in this list I have assigned these benefits to 2 of these points, which are the third and the fourth point. The third point is about the onboarding. Indeed, when you start to learn a new software from the scratch, this software is written in object-oriented, and so everything is more unified. Once you understand the key concept behind how this software is written, it's much more easy for you extend this reasoning on the whole software, and this of course speed up the learning process. The other benefit comes when you have to maintain the source code. And to explain this point, I want to do an example with Godot, which is a software written in object-oriented in a really nice way because it's really uniform. And always happen to me when I have to fix a bug or implement a features in a part of the engine that is completely new to me. I am still comfortable, and the familiarity that I have of course give me the possibility to speed up the bug fixing or the new feature implementation. So we arrive to the last point of this list finally. Thanks to object-oriented, program is much more easy, and this thanks programming with the natural way of we categorize things in the real world. If you think a bit more about it, we are really used to categorize things because we started to do when we was born and we keep doing in our day life. So I think that this is a not small benefit that we have when we program using this design pattern, and this is a real benefit, especially for the programmer that doesn't have too much experience yet. Of course, each of these points has drawbacks, but the idea of this video again is not to list the benefit of the object-oriented, but rather is to say only the best features of this design pattern in order that in future, when this became again a trend, we can start to improve, starting from these points. But there is a lot of time for this. Actually, we can just focus on the new problems that the new technology will bring to us.